Hello and welcome to What's So Great About the podcast that chimes in with Haven't You Ever Heard Of? Or closing the goddamn door. My name's Terry.
My name is Andy.
Andy, how the bloody hell are you?
Very well, Terry, and you?
I too am well.
Good to hear it, pal. What was that a reference to?
It's a reference to the fact that this week on the podcast, as requested by one of our lovely patrons, Tony Kane, we're covering Panic at the Disco's 2008 album, Pretty Odd?
Yeah, I'll take it from here. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be covering at the end, because I know some of you, most of you, if not all bar two of you, would not be familiar or care about Panic at the Disco's second album, but...
It's only their second? Okay.
Yeah, but so we're going to, just towards the end of the episode, we're going to circle back to it, because, Terry, this... Put your hands together. You know, I know you like emo, right? So we've established that.
Are these emo? Are these classified as emo?
Yeah. Now, I'll finish my thing, and then
I'll finish my sentence.
So yeah, they're emo, but this is where they went all kind of Beatlesy.
Now, I take reference.
All in good time, my friend. Now, the first album is an emo classic, and that was why I was hemming and hawing about. Oh, should I do that one? Because more people would probably have heard that.
I can't believe this is only their second album.
Oh, you better believe it, pal. Yeah, it's a stark fall after this one. So
well, I looked up on their Spotify and
I mean, song stream wise, they're higher than ever.
High Hopes is like fucking yeah.
Basically, I think after this, he sacked the guy who made them sound like the Beatles, and then just kind of went solo. And that's when he became all super popular.
Because I listened to a few other ones, and it kind of goes into I don't know if it's Kanye.
It's
adjacent.
It's not.
Like a lot of beats in there.
It's not the Panic that I fell in love with. You know what I mean? But all in good time, because as you folks know, this is my only way of subjecting Terry to my tastes. Lord knows he does it to me. Not only on the mic, off the mic as well. Sends me a lot of things.
Come on, all right. I'm adhering to the sub 2 minute clip.
Yeah,
I am. Come on.
Yeah, you do. But here's the problem: is that you only send me stuff that interests you.
That's the whole point.
Every clip is trying to turn me. It's not like this good, isn't it? Yeah, well, it is. This is good, isn't it? But I don't think that's good. Or it's some sort of like. It's like this. Okay, look, the first 4 didn't get him, but this one. So now I think I feel.
What were the last two I sent you? One was
that thing about that 1977 movie that I clearly spaced out about when you were talking.
Yeah, but then I thought if I showed you what it looked like, it would, there's method to my madness. And then there was something before that I was like.
I commented on that. I replied to that. That was good. That was fucking Russell Crowe and Tom Cruise.
There you go.
That's right up my alley, as you know. That wasn't Tom Cruise doing that flip at 34 seconds, was it?
It surely was.
Fucking hell.
But they were fucking laying it in. It was great.
Was that The Mummy?
There was The Mummy, yeah. Terrible
what a
film.
shame.
Yeah, I know.
God.
Weird how he's like, I'm signing up to the dark universe. It's me, Russell Crowe, Javier Bardem, a bunch of A-listers, and we're all gonna do all the classic Universal monster movies. First one does not hit at all.
Forget it.
Oh boy, they literally scrapped it all.
Were they dependent on Black Adam?
No, because it was
already tanked by that point.
No, this was before any of that. Before they were doing.
Oh right, yeah, but I mean, was Black Adam gonna be
No, because Black Adam is superheroes, and this is a connected universe, not of superheroes, of Universal monster movies.
So it's not DC. What am I talking about?
So it's Dr. Jekyll is in The Mummy. Russell Crowe is playing Dr. Jekyll. Javier Bardem, I think, was gonna be. I can't think. There's Creature of the Black Lagoon was planned. All those ones.
If they just showed,
was he Dracula?
Tom Cruise. The best thing about that, not only was it them doing all the stunts, but it's just Tom Cruise and Russell Crowe having a laugh and patting each other on the chest and on the back.
You come at me, right? Yeah. I'm not. Yeah, I'm gonna lay it in. Don't worry.
They're just having fun.
Yeah,
it was so great.
That was great. A couple of movie stars, man.
Yeah,
and I love how they're we've known each other for years. We never worked together.
Yeah,
and so
you wouldn't even know.
So how we worked together is us stunt fighting and having the time of our lives.
Yeah,
movies, huh? That's why movies are great, man.
I watched the movie.
Hey!
All right.
I have not watched the movie since we last spoke.
I watched one yesterday, as it turns out. On Joni's recommendation.
Okay. Embracing myself.
K-pop Demon Hunters. Have you seen this? Have you heard about this?
No. What?
Let me tell you, Terry. It's actually fucking class.
What is this?
It's a kids thing. It's basically this girl group, and they're actually demon hunters, and a boy group who are demons. So the girl group start out as like they're the hot young thing, hot new thing.
Yeah, okay.
Freudian stuff.
The hot act. Yeah.
And then the boys.
How do you like it?
It reminds me of Dennis. It's like we're not going to get hot young tail. It's like no one said young the first time. But they turn out to be demons. One of the girls is actually half demon, and she's been hiding it from the others. And then, but the head demon knows her secret. Anyway,
what is this on?
It's on Netflix, and it's basically a movie, but there's like 7 or 8 like songs.
Okay,
like it's a Korean movie.
It's Korean. It's actually
good animation.
Anime, like,
No, it's not anime, but it's that kind of like it's modern animation kind of thing. But you know what? Like for what it was, I thought, you know what? That's actually quite good. Visually, very good. The songs, I thought, dare I say, were banging.
Did you watch it on your own?
No, that'd be weird.
I thought you said it's on Joni's recommendations.
No,
like,
she watched it. Dad? She had watched it earlier in the day.
And she wanted to watch it again?
And she wants to watch it again later in the day. So I thought, oh, well, it must be good if she wants to watch it twice in a day.
Is she big into K-pop?
Do you know, I think she will be when she properly discovers it. But no, not particularly.
It's a very interesting...
it's kind of like what, bubblegummy pop sort of...
Sub-genre, but like your one... is it Lalisa? Or she's in...
Blackpink?
Yeah. Blackpink? Is
Blackpink.
It? Yeah. And it's
You're
like,
thinking Blaupunkt, the advantage in your car.
You're throwing a lot of words at me right now. I don't know what you're saying.
A speaker manufacturer.
Oh, right, okay.
God. But there's a Bloodhound gang, Blaupunkt, the advantage in your car.
Deep cut Bloodhound.
Hey, it was everywhere like 10 years ago.
30 years ago.
20.
Yeah. All right, I'll give you that. I'll give you that. Hey, you mentioned It's Always Sunny.
Uh-huh.
Did you see the trailer?
Do you know what? I did.
Sad.
I didn't really see the full thing though with audio. All I keep seeing, I thought was funny. One of the first quote tweets I saw was, "They look like aliens."
They do. Like the only one who looks normal is Charlie.
Yeah.
The rest of them, the other 3, like Frank is old.
Frank looks.
Yeah, he looks his age.
Like mid-80s.
Yeah,
he looks like he actually looks really good. Yeah. And Charlie just looks like an older version of
Charlie
himself.
looks like 47, which is his age, and good on him.
Dennis,
what the
Rob,
fuck? Rob, I feel bad that like Rob got mixed in with that Reynolds cult. Like,
I think he was kind of had his own wavelength way before that, though.
Yeah, but like I think
he was plasticky way before Reynolds came along.
Not that plasticky, man.
Yeah, sure. Look at Caitlin Olsen was hitting that plastic surgery years.
But
years
that's
ago.
out of necessity almost. Like,
is it though?
I think in the industry, kind of. They all gotta try and keep themselves looking as young as possible, or they think they have to. You know what I mean?
They think.
And then you look at somebody like Jane Fonda, who still looks incredible.
Amazing.
Yeah.
They do.
The show looks. The trailer looks bad.
They
what? Look like they're out of ideas.
Yeah, but I kind of thought that
last season.
Yeah, but like I know last season wasn't the best. Was that the Ireland one was the last one, or was that the one before?
That was 15. So 16 was like.
I thought 16 was really good actually.
The mental health day, I didn't.
Yeah, I didn't love particularly that episode, but I did like the season overall.
I thought
like
there was
Mac and the nuts and shit eating all that and the inflatable sofas. I thought that was a really funny episode.
The inflatable sofas was ass
because he's so like come on, like his face is just all swelling up. But do you know what? I just kind of trust them. Like it, I agree. It looked bad.
Looked really bad,
and I'm sure it's not going to be peak. Oh, was there stuff like that in it too?
There's a hawk to a girl on this.
Is it all like
game
pop culture
show.
sort of stuff?
Seems very
The Bachelor or something.
This is in the zeitgeist now, and it's like the best comedy stuff. Yeah, it can riff on that, but it also kind of has timeless ideas. Like if you look at The Simpsons.
Yeah.
If you go back to the classic era of The Simpsons, it was like it was pulling stuff from the modern time, but also it was like jokes that were funny.
Yeah,
and like would reference something from 30 years ago.
And it was actually a sign that the show was flailing when it was like pop icon Britney Spears. That's right, Lisa.
Yeah.
So like it's not going to be at its peak. I will watch it.
I was hungover yesterday. I was staying in the spare room to spare my wife the night sweats that I was definitely gonna have, and put it on to go sleep. I put on
what season?
Season 13, I think. It's the one where it was like the Airbnb scheme that they had.
Oh,
and
yeah,
it's like the gang gets romantic. I've kind of forgotten. Then it was like the couple that are staying in the
old guys.
Yeah, there's the old guys, and then it's like the dead kid. I think I fell asleep.
Oh,
like
Teddy. Yeah, Teddy. Yeah, just like your old lover, Teddy. Teddy was our son.
It's like we're just Dennis being like the sexual tension. Let's just relieve it.
Dennis looks so surreal now.
What's
like he looks like? Do you remember that episode where he's like,
I got a chemical peel.
Yeah.
That's him normally. Now.
Yeah, that's how he looks. I'm like, wow.
If you see like Blackberry, the movie, like in that, and he's like bald, and like he looks more normal in that movie, than he does now. Like, cause
he looks real weird now, and he looks weird like off, like not even like on season 17 or whatever. Like you see him now with like a beard as well, but like it's not it's a very I don't know what it is, but he is kind of like that anyway. But
and
Rob is just it's too much. It's like, it can't
as soon as he got fillers removed or whatever. Like
it's too much.
And his teeth.
Yeah, like I kind of thought like once he started to get jacked, it was too distracting from. Like, do you think there's something to that? Like Kerry's favorite inclination on Mac is Fat Mac from season 7.
That was when we first started. Funny then. When we first started recording, and you weren't, because it wasn't on Netflix. You weren't even watching.
I remember you telling me.
Here's the story, and he's like putting on weight. And
he did it in real life.
And it's like fat is funny, like you know what I mean, like.
And even the season after, where he's kind of a lot more toned, but he looked real skinny.
Yeah.
And then it's like, and then him being jacked, I was just like, it's taken. I'm too busy looking at him to listen to him. You know?
Like, okay, man. And then, like, the joke was funnier when he wasn't out. Like the joke of him being gay.
Yeah, because there was something they could always go back to. Like,
and then it was like, I don't even remember what episode it was, but it was like where he had like anal beads up his ass, and like somebody, like, it was a Dennis in the end that was like making him, violent, and I was like, what is going on in this show?
I know.
Where are we? Like,
do you know? I love that it's still going, because they've such goodwill stored in the bank that I will absolutely watch it with the best of intentions, and I'll probably like it. I did like the last season.
Did you ever watch?
And they make those ads look bad. You know what I mean? American
Sometimes
ads.
Sometimes they do. Yeah, I guess because it's a network.
Yeah,
it's a network ad.
They have to get, like, the timing has to be like ad timing, not like whatever show timing. That's why The Office, 30 Rock, all these ones that we were like, that makes it look terrible. But when you actually watch it, like, oh, it's actually really funny.
Yeah, that I'll give it the benefit with that.
It could be ad timing.
Did you ever watch the other show that Dennis was in? Why can't I think of his name? Glenn Howerton.
Yes.
AP Bio?
No.
And it's by a guy who was like a writer on Saturday Night Live, who's very, very funny. His name is Mike O'Brien, and it's like he is like a scholar, and
Glenn Howerton is?
Yeah, and he returns to his hometown in Indiana after like being fired from a professorship in Harvard.
Right.
And he's back teaching biology as a substitute teacher, but he's no like clue about biology, so it's like him and the kids.
Right.
If you do this scheme, my whole thing is like I gotta take down the guy that's replacing me. My old friend is taking my job and my career and stuff. So he's like enlisting the kids to come up with schemes to like, take him down, and also schemes of like, well, I don't want to cheat you guys. Kind of a bit of School of Rocky bit in there, where it's like the teacher doesn't have a clue about it, and some students really want to learn, and other ones like, hey, I like this cool teacher's vibe, and in the end they teach each other lessons, but it's fun. It's funny, and like Patton Oswalt plays the principal in it. It's a good show.
Do you know, I love seeing them doing good things.
Stuff.
I love seeing them doing other stuff, but I like seeing them doing good things. I really have a fondness for them. I was actually really bummed when the podcast, even though I wasn't a regular listener,
I tried listening there a little while ago. I kind of always felt there was a bit of a...
I just liked that it was
weird
there.
energy, though, when I was listening to it.
I quite liked it, though, because I was like, they're so comfortable with each other that, like, sometimes there'd be like, there was one where,
I never said that.
Yeah, or like Rob was having a go, not having a go.
Eat whatever you're eating.
Yeah, it's like, don't you? He's like, you will come in 6 months ago and be like, don't you guys know that what you're doing to your body is toxic? You know? And then 6 months later, it's like, oh, I don't do that anymore. And then like he's properly getting, it's like, when did I say that? It's like, you're gaslighting the shit out of me right now, man. Like, you know, all this sort of stuff. But like, they just seem very like, it's like, could you just put your emotions to one side? You know, like that. Like they're so comfortable dealing with each other. I just quite liked that it was there, and then they stopped because of the writer's strike, and now it's like, oh, I kept thinking, oh, they're going to come back to it, and then one of them said like, oh no, sure, the studio's gone now, or all this. So I was kind of like, oh, that's a shame. Would have been nice to have a little.
That's where I get like, that's my Lonely Island podcast. That's my fix for something like that, where it's like Andy Samberg, Yorma, Kiva, and Seth Meyers, and they're just talking about every digital short that they've ever done.
That's good.
And then they talk about what was on the show that week, and sometimes they get like people, you know, leaving voice notes. So it was like, oh, you know, Will Forte did this thing, and then he's like, we get him to do a voice note, and he's like, hey guys, so this MacGruber clip, whatever, and like all these little tidbits from it, like.
What's this thing that I keep seeing on my TikTok, and it looks hilarious, and it's Jason
Sudeikis, Ted Lasso himself.
No, it's Jason Bateman,
Smartless,
and
Will Arnett and Sean Hayes.
Yeah. What is that?
Like, it's the biggest podcast in the world that everybody tells me to listen to that I never listen to.
It looks fucking hilarious.
They're like sold it.
Like they're
for like $3 billion or whatever.
Really?
Like, yeah,
it's a podcast.
It's a podcast, the Smartless podcast.
Because they'd be like, you know, one of them would be like or what's the other guy's name? Will Arnett would be like eating a sandwich, and you know, Bateman's like, he's looking at him, he's like, Jesus Christ, you know, it's like, what are you doing? You know, like, but it's so, Jason Bateman is so fucking funny. Like.
Andy, I told you, but like, you never get into Arrested Development. He is the.
But I know I'm the problem with that.
You know like everybody else would be like, oh, you know, it's Tobias or Buster or the dad or whatever. Jason Bateman as Michael is the secret sauce in that, where it's just be like, all this craziness is going on around him. He's like, like, you're like, you know, like, my favorite joke in it is like, the first episode, he's like, I'm going to be taken over, and let me tell you, there's going to be some changes around here, and you're like, dum, 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 and you won't know because you've never had the sweet sting of sweat in your Buster. You can't play that outside, buddy. And he's like banging the drum in the corner, like, he's like, it's just, great. He's incredible.
And what's the podcast called?
Smartless. And like, I like you, like, people are telling me,
oh my God.
I'm like, I should be, this ticks all my boxes.
This seems right up your alley.
I should be listening to it. I never do. And they're like, it's been going, it was like the It's Always Sunny thing, where it was like, these three, you know, really funny celebrities that work together have their own podcast, and it's worth, they do tours, and it's worth fucking a gazillion dollars.
Wow.
It's been going on like Conan's thing. It's been going on for about 5-6 years now.
Amazing.
At this stage. Like, that's the podcast boon, I want to say, is like.
Boon?
Boon.
Or boom. You're saying that with an N?
Yeah.
What's that mean?
It's the same thing.
Sorry, I didn't mean to call you on it.
No, but it's kind of like that around that time where it was like, hey, celebrities are getting into their own kind of comedy podcast, and then like all these like radio stations like, we'll pay you $100 million to, like, the Conan sold his one.
We just gotta keep plugging away.
No worries, like,
just keep plugging away.
We'll finally be able to retire when we're 70.
Remember, the idea was that we would leave the Patreon go, and we'll both get PS5s.
Yeah, imagine that.
That's like whatever.
I got a Switch. I got a Switch out of mine.
Oh yeah. Do you have any interest in the Switch too?
Not particularly.
I only got one game.
Yeah.
Like,
is it Mario Kart?
Yeah.
Why
It
did they
doesn't
rush
look that much. I don't know.
Can you play the old games?
I actually don't know. I think you can. I think
I'm going to buy myself another Wii.
Oh. Wasn't ready for that.
I just had a hankering to play like golf.
Just a good old Wii, like.
Yeah.
Not even
a Wii U? No.
No, and I'm not even going to suggest a VR because that's in the AI realms.
VR is okay. AI.
VR. I had the VR headset, the first one, and it is better than I thought it would be. I don't even know what the PS VR 2 is now.
Well, like, what do you play on it?
I play These are Joni's games. Job Simulator.
Do that every day, like.
There's a bunch. There's some sports stuff, and
Like,
there's
can you play golf? That's what I.
Yeah, you can. You can play golf.
Yeah.
And there's some other good stuff there, but like the problem is when you have to move in it, like forward. You know what I mean? Because I felt very disoriented when there was some shooter game where some button makes you move, and you kind of, it's a weird feeling like you're moving but you're not moving.
Right. Okay. And
that
you're
sort of
tempted
stuff
to move, like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, like that's
Right into the kitchen, like.
but it's interesting. Like there's something there. Like this was whatever 7-8 years old now, but like even at the time I was like, oh, that's further along than I thought. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I just always have the great memories of like playing Tiger Woods golf. And like, you couldn't call it that today, but you know, I don't know. Like,
well, I have the old PS Plus, so I have access to the PGA Tour.
Is that what I call it now?
Yeah. And it's good. It's quite relaxing. You know what I mean?
I found it very relaxing. You know? And we'd always.
There was one Christmas where a couple of years ago where I played it a lot. You know,
golf.
Yeah, because Limmy was streaming it on his Twitch, and I found it very enjoyable. So I'm like, I'm gonna get that.
I just brings back memories of like before I had responsibilities. Well, you know, playing in the gaff, living in the gaff with like 3 other lads. We'd get a quick 9 holes in before bed.
Get a quick 9. The pitch and putt.
Netty. You know,
do you remember like the days where you could be like, I'm all right. It's 1 o'clock now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna play for another hour and a half, and then we'll see. You probably end up playing for another 2.5 hours.
Like,
I'm
going into Cantwell's for 11.
So just once I'm up by whatever 10.
And then I might come back about 4, and then have some dinner, and then see if other people are doing something at like 9. This is a Tuesday, like see what else is going on. Maybe we go to the movies or like have somebody over to play pro that evening. It's like, and then get up and go to work tomorrow at 1.
Do you know what? I didn't appreciate it at the time.
Oh.
You know,
I mean, we did it pretty good though. Like,
I mean, but you know, I sometimes wonder. Well, you certainly did it better than me, I think. But
you were in a long-term relationship early doors, my friend.
I got locked in quick.
You were living with
by age 20.
Yeah, your significant other.
True.
You know?
Yeah, that's gonna hurt you. There were the days.
I guess I was late 20s before I moved in. You know, it was like 27, I think.
Yeah,
it was pretty quick with Faye because I was living in my parents' front room and slowly going insane. Yeah.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, you know, or like I'd be like, I need to go out for a walk to like smoke a joint. And then like sneak back in and hope nobody met me in the hallway.
I know.
To see, first of all, to smell me or then see my bloodshot eyes. And then I'd be like, I'm going to light the fire so that'll mask the smell of stinking of weed. Like, so I'd be on a couch bed and be like, it was very relaxing. I'd be like lying down, like TV up in the corner.
Fire's on.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
That was the big thing for me. My eyes could never hide it. My eyes went so red when I'd have one joint. And now, even if I want to have one at the back, out the back, it's like it's so exposed where I am now that I'm like, for sure it can be smelled.
Also, but like, who cares?
I know that's what I want to be like. Like, who cares?
You're 40 soon. Like,
I know. I should.
It's all gonna be decriminalized soon.
Well, this is partially decriminalized now, anyway, isn't it? So
is it?
I don't know.
In here?
That's from The Office.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, what are they gonna do? Huh? Yeah. You know.
Excuse me, sir.
Like that one time, do you remember when we were like 20?
When we were on the green?
Yeah, it was the first time that we had ever. I think we got like an ounce.
You got an ounce, and we split it into 4 quarters.
And that was the most we'd ever seen.
Yeah.
Look at that time. That's for you. That's for you. Like, no way. Yeah. And then we're in the car, bagged it up, and then we just let's go. And then we drove the car 10 feet.
Like, not in the car 5 minutes, and then it was like somebody's like, the car.
He's looking at us awful funny there, Brian.
Turn right, and it's like we took the right down like his lane or whatever, and then the car is like, it's coming behind you, like
not even the gravity of the situation. It's like
we were high in the back, like and like he was I'll give him very clever. He got out of the car straight away.
Brian, street
got out of the car straight
I'd
away.
Be rigid.
And he was
Is there
like,
a problem, Ossifer?
but he was like, "How are you, guard? What's the And he was
guard?
he's like, you didn't indicate properly or something
Yeah,
like
something
that. Like,
minor.
and he was like, "Oh, sorry, like I only got the car, blah blah." And like he was able to like talk him out, and he's didn't look in on us, and we were all
If
like,
he had have just stuck his snout in the car, it would have smelled. And I remember when we were dividing it up, even this random dog got in the car. Do you remember, like this big Labrador, and it's sniffing, and as I'm trying to divide it, I'm like, what the fuck is that dog doing here? Like, where did this guy come from? I was like, what the hell?
Simpler times.
Great stuff.
Yeah. Hey, 28 years later.
Uh-huh.
Big weekend at
It's
the
doing
box office.
Everyone's talking about the third act.
Yeah, third act is third act. I would recommend you go see it with Kerry.
I have.
But like third act is how you say? First act is kind of standard zombie fare. Second act is kind of different standard zombie fare. Third act is completely different, and it's beautiful and
Beautiful.
looks incredible and is quite moving.
Ooh.
And then there's the ending, which is brilliant. I'm not going to describe it any other way. It's been polarizing because some people don't like it. They're
the best kinds, really, aren't they?
fucking love the ending.
Okay.
And like, if you do see it or when you do see it, tell me what you think. I think it is inspired.
Oh,
the choice they make, and it has me.
It's a lot of big talk.
Has me like it's January. The next one's in January.
And it's doing well. It's doing.
It made its budget back pretty much in the opening weekend worldwide.
Right.
It's had the highest, like 30 million. So like, it's the best opening weekend of the three.
Do you think? Oh, right, that's good.
And it's like 60. It would cost 60. It made 60 worldwide in its first weekend.
Yeah.
Word of mouth is very good. I can see it.
Getting over 100.
Yeah, I could see it getting over. I'd be very surprised if it didn't make over 100 worldwide, but I could see it even, chugging along to close to 100 domestic.
In the US,
yeah.
Domestic.
Yeah,
do you know what? I hope that when I see things like this, like good old horror or whatever you call it, the genre would be, that, because the way it's like the same with like things go way too liberal and then they swing back the other way, or they go way too, like any correction of society where it's like it's too far this way, now it's too far conservative, and now it's too
sick of.
I think this.
I
hope
IP,
I hope this will swing it back again in the direction of like maybe they'll make more comedies, maybe they'll have more high-grossing horror movies. Well, because they'll try it, they'll say, okay, this works.
Danny Boyle was talking about it there on a podcast I listened to him recently, and he was kind of saying all the testing they've done, because horror over the last few years has been pretty reliable.
Yeah.
Because all of them are low budget.
Yeah.
And they make 4 or 5 times their budget back. The good one, like Get Out, was 10 million.
Yeah.
And I know that's about 10 years ago, but like it made, over 100 million. So you're like a 10xer. You're like, okay, no problem. We'll make it up. If it's good, the people will come see it. And horror is kind of very dependable.
Yeah.
He was saying, though, they have shown that like the analytics, it's been like more women going to see horror movies, and
it's a thrill.
I think it's just like they're not being pitched as like final girl slasher stuff anymore. They're like original, interesting ideas that like people just want to go see, and like I say, it is the thrill. That's why I go to a horror movie. That's what you want to be thrilled.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Kerry's always pushing for horrors whenever I'm trying to recommend a movie or something.
Did you ever watch The First Omen?
Yeah.
Did you?
The one from the 70s?
No, the new movie was called The First Omen.
Oh, no. Sorry.
Ralph Ineson is in it. Your
Don't
boy.
know who that is.
Finchy.
Oh, right.
Maybe wait until after she has the baby to watch The First Omen.
Some sort of baby related.
It's all about the babies. The Antichrist giving birth to babies.
Oh, the Antichrist giving birth to babies?
Well, yeah.
But the Antichrist is
impregnating women who have the babies.
Oh, okay.
It's in Italy. It's in Italy. It's fucking deadly.
Class.
I really enjoyed it. But yeah, like I don't know. There's a movie that came out called Materialists. I don't know if you saw this, with Chris Evans and Pedro Pascal.
Absolutely not.
And it was marketed as a romantic comedy, and it was like Dakota Johnson, Chris Evans, Pedro Pascal, like movie stars, and then people they did pretty well, and people went to see it because they thought it was going to be a romantic comedy.
Honey-dicked?
They got honey-dicked.
Oh, what a tactic!
People were like, this is not what I signed up for, or whatever like that.
Fucking brilliant. More people should do that.
I haven't seen it. I've heard the word Marxist theory thrown around quite a bit in it. But I was like, then you kind of would say like, well, then people probably want to see a romantic comedy. So why don't you make a big budget romantic comedy? Like, you know?
They're gone as well, aren't they?
Yeah. I mean, who's going to be...
What is it now? It's all fucking...
It's going. That's the thing, Andy. We're free. Superheroes are dying.
Great.
You know, we're free.
Good riddance.
Transformers, dead.
Good.
You know, it's all coming apart.
Great.
Good.
That's what I want.
Yeah.
I've had enough of the superhero stuff. Hey, you and Martin Scorsese. Yeah. I've had enough.
I mean, the three of us out for dinner the other week. We said exactly that. We said exactly that.
On our side podcast.
What's that look, Terry?
Pure cinema. Pure cinema, Marty.
Let me tell you. That's a further look, Terry.
Well, listen, Terry.
Yeah? What time are we at here?
Time for Titchy with an extended bangers for Terry?
Sure.
Hey!
I suggested this, in fairness. I suggested we pick this week to do it.
Yeah, so, look, folks, I think... Look, chances are you don't like this sort of music, but if you want to hear how the hell is an irritating emo band trying to pull off the Beatles, stay for morbid curiosity.
The album is 50 minutes, which is pretty...
long enough, isn't it?
You think so?
Yeah. For my sort of, for pop punky emo stuff.
I did think that maybe there was 3 songs too many.
Yeah, I actually agree with
that. But 50 minutes... It's not that long for an album. Like,
genuinely,
Blink 182 was what, like 45 minutes or something like that. Like, so
maybe the self-titled is maybe 40.
Right, okay, really.
Enema of the State's like 32 or something.
Is it?
Zips, fucking zips.
It zooms. Hey,
zoom.
Slides.
So look, I don't know. Should we go track by track because I can't be arsed editing all the tracks in.
We could talk about a few songs.
Standouts.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, if I may.
I'll just give you my initial thought. Okay. So like, I listened to this on the way to work this morning, and I was like, I was like, oh, it's just like the Alkaline Trio. It's just like washing over me.
You're having a laugh.
And I was like, I didn't really enjoy it. It just was nothing to me. And then I was like, and then maybe it was because it was too early. I was on the early train before the gym, and I was like, maybe I'm just too tired or whatever. Yeah. And then I stuck it on again around 11.
There we go.
And second time around, I was way more locked in. I was like, I didn't even pick up the first song in this is like a crowd, and there's like cheers and like, Arr! I didn't pick up on that the first time I listened to it because I just wasn't clued in or whatever.
We were busy writing songs for you. Don't have to worry because we're still the. Right.
I like the album, I will say. I like it. If I'm being bold. And this is the complete reverse of my previous thoughts, nothing on this album hits the heights of I Write Sins.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it kind of was like, maybe just because I've turned around on that song, I was like, I wish there was something of that ilk on the album.
The closest thing I thought to the first album was That Green Gentleman. Things have changed. Everybody gets there. Everybody gets there.
But it was still a bit
That's
too
kind of a
jaunty or something like that. Like for me, like, you know.
I was trying. That was why, because I was going to hit you with the first one, and I was like, I really do think you would like that song, but even for me, it can be a little much by the end of the album.
I kind of was like this at the end of this album. Behind the Sea. Yeah, I really like.
Yes, I love that one.
And then, there's 3 more songs after that, and I could probably be like,
after that,
1 more song would have been enough.
I was kind of thinking
and
myself.
then they have a reprise of 9 in the Afternoon, which is the standout song. It was the single. Yeah, it was. I think it is. It's a great tune. It's I get what they're going for. If this is their Beatles song, I get it. It's 9 in the afternoon. And I remember it used to be on Central all the time, and you told me it was Panic. I was like, this isn't them. Yeah. And you're like, it is. I like this.
There's another song from this album that was played on Central Radio quite regularly. Any guesses as to what that is?
The piano knows something I don't.
The Northern Downpour.
Don't ever remember this being on
they played it.
Yeah. I do know. Yeah, you know what that is? That's the kind of flat genre, that song that was going around at the time. That I wouldn't distinguish that as Panic at the Disco.
Yeah, because it's not panicky.
No,
yeah.
And that's maybe my problem with this. That like, it's inoffensive enough. But I've kind of I've crossed the Rubicon, Andy. That I'm like, you know what? I hated them when I was younger.
Yeah.
And I like that, like, I Write Sins was the most obnoxious song to me. And now I'm like,
hell yeah.
I listened to it on the way down before I started listening to this. I'm just going to get myself in. And I was like, and you know what? I think it might have been the video.
Yeah.
Going with the song that kind of I was like, bleh.
I know.
Like a top hat and all this
I know,
shit.
yeah.
Like,
Clockwork Orange style.
Yeah, and now I'm listening to it in isolation, and it's like, it actually fucking gets me going.
It's
and I didn't get that from this album. And
this one's a bit more of an like
bland, dare I say?
No, I wouldn't agree with that.
In comparison, it's a bit less.
The highs aren't as high, but it's a steady. It's steady. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Steady 7.
But it's steady.
Sometimes 8, sometimes 6.
It becomes a bit boring at times.
It does. So, okay, let me get your take on a couple of songs in particular.
There was one I knew because you put it on a playlist of ours a few years ago.
You remind me of a formula.
Yeah.
Well, what about that one?
That's who the band remind me of now. I was thinking all day, who does this band remind me of? And now it's fucking come to me. You know who I'm going to say?
No.
You're never going to get it. You probably have never heard of this band.
Oh, what is it?
Squirrel Nut Zippers.
Oh, I've heard of them, yeah.
Right, that fantastic song, Hell in the Afterlife. No?
No.
Dead Man on Campus. Just saying, it was like...
I'm looking your direction.
Yeah, it was, it was used in that film like 3 times.
All right, I got another one for you.
That they give me a version of, like, I love Squirrel Nut Zippers.
Yeah.
Don't really like these. Well, not that I don't really like them, but it was kind of like a worse version.
What about a bit of folking around?
No, this was kind of like... No, it didn't. That didn't do it for me, and it was like, because I enjoyed Behind the Sea so much.
Behind the Sea is great, isn't it?
And then I was like, oh, this is the one now. If I was, another standout, I like this. And then you kind of a bit jarred with the tonal dissonance of,
good word.
They're doing like,
it felt a bit
hayride. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like a little bit. Like, where is this coming from? Bit forced. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Like,
bit inauthentic.
Yeah. I kind of have that feeling with a little bit of this.
I know what you mean. Do you know what it is? I find here's the thing, Slick, is that
bring comedy tips, Slick.
His voice doesn't necessarily go with the music.
Doesn't really go with other genres.
But the other lad,
who
sang, I think he sang Behind the Sea, and he sang a few others. He was the real inspiration behind the Beatlesy stuff, and he went off then after he was shit canned from Panic.
And what did he do?
Another band called the Young Veins.
Never heard of
and it was very more of that Beatlesy Beach Boys sort of thing.
Yeah, but like it's pale imitations, shall we say? Like when I think of like bands trying to do the Beatles.
Yeah.
Weirdly enough, and like I guess it's one that's often cited, but like I think it take that doing Shine.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's a Beatles song.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And this,
do you feel like the Beatles sound was like shoehorned in?
Yeah, I almost take issue with it. You using the word Beatles so many times when referring to this album.
Do you know what actually used to put me off? I seen an article on Kerrang or something, and I just seen a big thing. People used to compare us to Fall Out Boy, but now they're comparing us to the Beatles at this point. I remember thinking like, I don't like that.
F+.
But I liked it. I listened to this album repeatedly in 2008, and I thought it was the best thing since sliced bread. I was like, I love Panic anyway, and I had just gotten into the Beatles a couple of years ago or whatever, and I was like, fucking put your hands together, my friend.
And I guess it's not terrible. It's definitely... It's better than most of the stuff you made me listen to in for the bangers and stuff like that. Like, I guess it was just. I don't know what I was expecting because I know 9 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And I maybe was expecting stuff
a bit more like.
Yeah, a little bit more like that, or even just something more interesting. And like a lot of it is just very samey, or you know,
might have liked the first one.
Yeah, maybe that's what I'm thinking. Like as I've gotten older, and in some ways more crotchety, and then in other ways I'm like, I've with these guys anyway, I've kind of done a 180.
180.
Yeah.
Can I ask you 2 songs? Your opinion on what did you think of that one? You know, I know it's sad, but I never gave a damn about the weather. And I never
that was. What's that one called? That's.
Do you know what I'm seeing?
Yeah, I mean, that could have been a single. You know what I mean? Like, but even there, is it the banjo in the background?
Yeah.
I'm like,
get that out of there.
Yeah, I was like, all right, Mumford, like.
Surely, but you're not going to tell me this wasn't a banger. This was a single. This at 9 in the afternoon.
Which one is this?
That Green Gentleman, Things Have Changed.
Yeah, I like that one.
That's like the most
like that
poppy.
That one,
you know, singly.
I was thinking, because that name is. Do they say like pretty odd in that? Like, it's like things are getting pretty odd. Yeah, and I was like, oh, that's the name of the album. And it kind of stuck in my head, and I like that one. It's. If I'm being honest, I kind of would like to, and maybe not a full album, but I wouldn't mind you maybe like do me like another 5 of emo, but like some Panic or something like that.
Terry,
you know?
I was considering only yesterday. I was like, well, I just give him a top a 5 piece.
Yeah.
Terry, let me do that next week.
Well, I think next week we should maybe
do your thing.
Get, like I say, take the boat out.
All right.
Into the middle of the lake.
Excuse me?
This is real big fish.
Real big fish?
Yeah, do my ska playlist.
You're gonna ska me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's scarred up.
Yeah, I'd love to be scarred.
Okay. Great.
It's a bit of a, it was always the one where I was kind of like, I wish I liked it more when I was a kid.
See that, like, this is kind of giving me that like a half vibe of what I get from like ska, in that like it's like dun 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 dun.
Yeah. There's horns.
That's what I mean, the horns, and I'm like, yeah, let's go party.
All right.
You know, I feel like I'm at Bogey Lowenstein's house or whatever.
Sure.
For the party, as opposed to this, it was kind of like,
it
was almost like they were going for something that had long been gone. A time like,
I know what you mean,
like maybe 6 years
just
earlier.
out of nowhere. This is your sound.
Yeah.
I get
whereas if you'd done it like at the end of the 90s or the start of the 90s, it would have made more sense to me.
Yeah,
even if it is a little bit watered down.
I feel in defense of this album is that
it's not a bad album. It's not a bad album.
It's a bit more of a
unspectacular.
It's a bit more of an album rather than a collection of songs. You know what I mean? Like they kind of go together. I think there's enough variety on there where you have some folksy stuff, some kind of weird stuff, and just some very not euphoric, but like kind of in that area.
Yeah.
Like 9 in the Afternoon, I find is a real,
it's a great tune.
Yeah, like I really like that one, and I've liked that one for ages. But I think the first half of the album is stronger than the second. But I'm really glad that you liked Behind the Sea.
I don't know if that's where it peaks, but it certainly jumps back up in this back half. The last 3 songs, I was like, I'm done. Like, I'm
kind of done by the end. Yeah. Behind the Sea is like great. I really like, probably my second favorite on the album.
And then you could do one more maybe. Yeah. And maybe that one you're talking
closer
about, Folking Around maybe, or something like that. But like, you have Folking Around, She Had the World, From a Mountain in the Middle of the blah blah, and Mad as Rabbits, and I was like,
Mad as Rabbits is.
Like 4. I was like 4 more songs,
it
was
God, but there's so much good stuff. Look, listen to this, right? For the first album, right? Tell me this doesn't get you going.
Yeah, like I would have been down for that,
That, and it only gets better.
Like that's kind of what I was in the humor of.
Fucking
that's kind of in the humor of. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, folks, we're not going to give up. We'll convert Terry
We're
to
finding
emo.
our way, though. You know what I mean?
We just gotta know which
You know,
road
the
you want to
parameters
go
are,
down.
it's getting the road is getting a little bit clearer. We're
Getting rid of some of the noise.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Great.
Okay.
Oh, well, I'm delighted. I'm delighted that you've heard it, because this is one that's like very few people I've actually ever really spoken to about it. And a suggestion by a good patron, Tony Kane. Thank you very much. See,
And-
well, literally, it doesn't even have to be. It could be a 17-year-old, lesser-known album, and we'll cover it on the main feed.
All you got to do is sign up for the low fee of €5 a month, where you get access to a plethora of back catalogues of great episodes. We got What's So Great About the MCU, What's So Great About 90s action movies, What's So Great About Ryan Gosling. Did I convert Andy to a fan? What's So Great About Big Willie's Flops, aka Will Smith's bad movies. Or our latest ones, What's So Great About the Movies of Tony Scott, What's So Great About Heist Movies, and we're in the home stretch of their year 2007. We just did the assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford.
You'll never guess who done it.
Hey, was Andy a fan? You know, tune in to find out.
Right.
We've got the last one coming down the pike, an absolute classic. Imho, Michael Clayton, Andy's main man Cluntang is in there. Will you enjoy it?
I know I will. If
Will
nothing
you?
else, just for Clune. You know what I mean?
And then you get to shape the shows there as well when you come up patron. It's a real good time.
That's what Terry said. And folks, if you can also do me one more better. And we listened to Panic at the Disco's second album, Pretty full stop, odd full stop. Get it? See, it's a double meaning. Pretty odd, and it's pretty, and it's odd. Triple meaning, actually. But we don't want 3 stars. That'd be insane and insulting. We want a 5-star review.
How does he do it?
That's fun.
Yeah,
I like doing your bit.
Yeah, you gotta be on your toes.
You do.
Yeah, you gotta be on your toes.
Jesus.
Sweating now out that,
I got nothing left.
So until next week, where I'll be scanning the shit out of Andy. We'll see you then, and
Thank you for everything.
be good. Right. Okay.